Hello there. Welcome to this session. The intention for this session is to help us with showing up in our relationships. So I think if we asked ourselves, are we bringing to the table everything we want to the relationships in our lives? I think the answer for most of us would be some version of maybe not all the time. And that is because we are human people. And our friends, our family, our coworkers, they understand that because they are human people too. But the actual intention of this session is just to help us with our subconscious programming that we may have that may be causing us blocks to showing up in our relationships the way that we would like to, just, all around generally. And of course, we can't change other people. We can only change ourselves. So here we go. My name is Celeste. I'm going to guide you through a type of guided meditation that includes some simple actions. So just follow along with me. And we are going to work through 3 images today. And we have some tools to go along with that I'll introduce as we go along. So I was surprised at some of the things that came up with this little session when I was, writing my little notes. And so um, I hope you enjoy. Let's go ahead and just take a deep breath and center ourselves for just a moment. Just feel what it feels like for just a minute to be a person with a body, sitting or standing or whatever you're doing. Okay, our first image is an orchard. And the tool we will be using with this image is this lovely little point of petrified wood. And I believe this came from Madagascar. And I bought it when I went out of state. And when I came back, I showed it to my friend, and she held it and just felt the connection to the tree that it came from. And it was a really cool experience and a cool memory. She is now on the other side. So I like to look back on that memory when I see this piece of petrified wood. And I believe that it will be supporting us with wisdom in this image that we'll be working through. I'll be right next to us. Okay, imagine the orchard. So in this orchard, there's quite a lot of activity going on. It is harvest time, and everyone is out in this orchard picking apples. And I mean everyone, the whole family, moms, dads, little children, grandparents, aunts, uncles are all out in this orchard. And in this scenario, they are picking and filling up their buckets or aprons, whatever they have, and walking over to the middle of the orchard and putting them in a barrel that's in the middle of this space. And this kind of works, but it's kind of hard at the same time. At first glance, it's hard to tell which trees have been thoroughly picked and which have not. There's not a lot of order here. Also, no one's abilities are being taken into account here, and everyone is just trying to do the same thing. Children are trying to pick from the tall trees, and adults who are tall and can reach the apples on the trees are spending a lot of time carrying apples around to get them to the barrel. So just imagine this confusion and frustration coming up in all this chaos. Allow that to come up for a moment. Is everyone supposed to try to do everything? These people all have good intentions, but this is confusing. Just let yourself feel that for just a moment. And then, of course, we'll breathe out these feelings, the confusion and frustration. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on that. Let's breathe this out 4 times. Go ahead and tap if you would like to, but whatever you do, try to breathe it out with some big breaths. Okay, confusion and frustration. Very good. If this brings to mind stories from your own life, I recommend journaling on those things, how you feel about them, the people and situations in them. So you could pause the video and do that, or you could wait until the end of the video. We're going to go ahead and move on though. So imagine that everyone in this orchard has a tube of light that beams down to the top of their head. Every single person in this family. And this light is full of divine directions, instructions on how this situation could be better. Imagine that they all just freeze what they are doing, and then they gather around the barrels in the middle of the orchard. And it's a big family meeting. And the grandparents who planted this orchard speak first. And they outline their idea of working on just a couple of trees at a time and moving east down the row of trees. The moms and dads, the aunts and uncles speak next. And they say that they're the strongest at picking and do the best on the ladders. That is true. Imagine the older children speaking up next, saying they're good at organizing and watching over the smaller children as they work with the carts and gather the apples and transport them to the barrels they need to be in. And the youngest children, they're hungry and they just want a snack. They volunteer to distribute lunch. So after each declaration is made, imagine these people looking at each other and recognizing these abilities in each other. They see each other and see how they can work together in this harvest. So imagine this family going to work again in this orchard. There are still a lot of things going on. It's still a little chaotic, as things are when there's just large groups of humans just working together. But for this harvest job, they know better how to work together and accomplish something that is big and super important to them. This is their livelihood. So imagine if they feel such peace in their hearts. Allow that feeling to come up for you now. Imagine this feeling of confidence that they feel now that the harvest will get in on time. And they have been seen and recognized for their abilities now, and they're working together, and it's not too late. Breathe that in, this peace, this confidence, this feeling of knowing that it's not too late. Let's breathe that in 2 more times. Big breath in. That image interesting. The next one, image number 2, is called the yellow car. And this is a shout out to my brother if he ever watches this, for him introducing me to this yellow car that's in this image. So the tool we'll be using for this one is this lovely sweater agate. And it is in the shape of a rabbit. I keep rabbits as pets, and they're just so comforting to me, their energy. And sweater agate is a stone of comfort. So I love that image of the rabbit with the stone. And it has all these lovely, lovely layers. I will try to get it a little closer. There you go. It has a bit of bling in it too. I don't think that's showing up in the video, but I love this stone, and we'll use this for a tool for a support in comfort, and it will be right next to us. Okay, so yellow car. Let me not distract myself here. Okay. Imagine a yellow car that is being driven down the road by a young man. He has just acquired this car, and it was a favor for an old friend. His older friend needed to sell a car, and the young man just needed something that was in running condition for a price that he could afford, which wasn't a lot, but it was helpful for his friend. His friend said that it was a big favor to him. At the same time, this young man driving this car doesn't know much about the car, and he's just not sure how to feel about it. It's a very old car. It is the strangest shape, all boxy, and it's also a convertible, which is kind of cool, but odd with the boxy shape. He just doesn't know how to feel about it. And when he drives around town in this car, people stare and they think, and they say, "What a thing! What a thing." So imagine humiliation coming up for this young man. Can you feel that? He is embarrassed and he's just not fitting in on the road. It's pretty humiliating to have everyone else stare. The humiliation, right? Ah, let's breathe that out. Imagine that just conglomerating in this big ball as you breathe in, and then imagine breathing that stuff out in a black cloud as you breathe out. Let's do it 2 more times. Big breath in, breathe it out. 1 more time. So once again, if you feel led to journal on anything that is coming up for you, any stories for your life, you can pause here or do that after the video. Okay, but we're going to move on here. Imagine this young man visiting his brother, who's a mechanic. While he explains to his brother that he impulsively bought this car off an old friend and why, all the other employees at his brother's shop are gathering around the thing and are clearly admiring it. And his brother, the mechanic, just laughs. Didn't you know? His brother says, this is not just an old car. It's a VW Type 181, and collectors are looking for cars like this, and it's worth 20,000 more than you paid for it. Just imagine this young man smiling and realizing that his older friend had actually tricked him in a way that made the car purchase a favor to himself, the young man who purchased it. And imagine his relief and gratitude as he realizes that this car is his ticket to investing in his future and improving his life. Breathe in this feeling of relief. As I do this, I just feel heaviness fall down from me. Just breathe in that feeling of relief. 1 more time, breathe it in. This young man now has the means to enact a plan that will improve his life, and he's so grateful. Feel that feeling of gratitude and breathe that in. Gratitude is such a high vibration emotion. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. Feels so nice. Okay. Image number 3. Okay, so with this image, I get to introduce another part of my art practice. So I did start a new art journal that I have been committed to drawing in every day. And last night I finished, really quick, I finished this. Hey, so this is going to be a tool, an energetic art tool. Art is energy, and it's going to be our tool to support us in this image. And I'll explain more about that at the end of the image. And it will be, of course, right next to us as we work. I will keep this opened right next to us. And the image we'll be working with is called The Sand in a Pit. Okay, so imagine a pit of sand, and it is just a super hot day. The sun is just bearing down on it, and it is so hot that the sand thinks it's going to melt. Of course, that's not really going to happen because the melting point of sand is spectacularly hot. But just imagine it baking there in the sun. I can't bear it. I can't bear it. I can't bear it, says the sand. Why am I even here? Says the sand. I should be at the water's edge, feeling cold water just wash over me with every wave. And as the sand just, fantasizes on that, imagine big feelings of futility coming up for the sand. Imagine the frustration of the situation that it can't change. Let's breathe out on these feelings of futility, this feeling of stuck, and this feeling of frustration of being stuck. Breathe it out. Nice. Now, imagine that a woman comes to this pit of sand and fills a bucket with the hot sand, and she takes it away. Over the course of the day, she does it again and again. Other people come with buckets too. The sand finds itself being taken away a bit at a time and being used as a component to make walls for the earthen homes of the villagers. Soon it is helping to house a whole village full of people. Not only did this sand get removed from the scorching pit, but it's also been given a purpose that has helped it reach its potential. And guess what? That's exactly what I feel this drawing is about. Potential reaching, having that motivation and confidence to reach out for your potential. That's what this drawing is about, I feel. Okay. Just imagine now the joy and gratitude of this sand. Being away from the hot pit, being able to reach its potential. What joy, what gratitude. Breathe that in. Sand is now a part of something that's bigger than itself. Do that in one more time. Okay. So we have completed the images that we're going to work on today in this little mini session. And I hope that you feel more confidence and more ability in yourself to reach your potential and to show up in your relationships. And I hope that you will subscribe to this channel and like this video if you found this helpful. I also have more contact information down below if you are interested in a private session or if you're local and you're interested in a foot zone. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. I feel such gratitude for you today. Bye.